Hello everyone and welcome back to Minecraft Dinosaurs episode 13. I'm standing outside of our starter house because I want to quickly go on a journey through the park, mapping out the whole thing so we can have an official park map. And here it is, our completed map of Fossil Ridge National Park, which if you actually didn't know is the name of our whole dinosaur park we've got going on. I'm really happy with this. It's really cool to see just all of our work displayed like this. It really shows you just how much we've actually done, which is something that I don't really recognize a lot because obviously you guys see the videos, you see how much changes between episodes. I just am doing it, so I kind of forget all the things that I've actually done to reshape this world. But seeing it all like this is a really good reminder that we have done just so much. And I need to touch on a few things that I've done between episodes. As you can see, on this side of the Triceratops enclosure, I did go ahead and clear out the remaining forest, as well as extend our pathway past the Triceratops, linking back up to the pathway by the Allosaur enclosure, and I've left a couple different ways that we can go off in different directions over that way. I've also kind of laid down a little bit of planning over on this side. I know this looks a little weird, but I have decided that I'm going to remove this section of the river, which I know sounds like a little crazy, like why don't I just build a bridge? But I was trying to come up with the design that I liked, but I just couldn't really find one. And overall, I couldn't get it to work in my head. And then I was also looking at the Diplodocus enclosure, and it was taking up just so much of what I wanted to be the prehistoric plains that I was like, I'm not going to have any room for the Parasaurolophus or the Gallimimus or anything else I want to put in our plains biome. And then I realized, well, if I take out this section of river, I could expand the plains biome by like doubling it in size and even include this section down here and this section. So I think it's a really wise idea. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think we can do it. Before we move on to the main project for today's episode, I did want to showcase that in that opening montage, I came over and hatched our fourth Triceratops, which did turn out to be a male. So because I want to have an adult grown male and have that model in the park, I went ahead and used the stunt growth essence on this Triceratops over here. So she is now stuck at age 6. I believe there's a way that we can undo this, but I will look into it if we want to undo it. I didn't see any strong opposition to having a baby Triceratops, or using the stunt growth. So I think it would just add a lot of dynamicism to this whole exhibit by having one look a little bit smaller than the rest, and it will let us see all 3 of the Triceratops models. So I'm okay with it. I'm not going to be able to name them in this episode, mostly because I went to go buy name tags from our mending villager, and I think a pillager may have killed him. So I don't have any name tags at the moment. I will work between episodes on getting them, and we will name our Triceratops in the next episode. If you do have any name suggestions for them, and you still would like to turn them in, leave them down in the comments below. Moving on to the focus of today's episode, I'm back over at the aquarium, where I want to add a kind of an extension onto these 2 sides of the aquarium to kind of break the flatness and also provide just more detail. I also want to work on this exterior area, starting like the pathway out here. I'm not going to connect it up over there just yet, but I want to kind of lay the groundwork so that way this doesn't feel just so out of place with the terrain. So I'm going to work on that, this extension, and if we have enough time today, I have a design in mind for a viewing platform to be put on this back side of the aquarium that will let us look in to the ocean and see our creatures once we finally do our walkways and our cliff faces and just their whole exhibit. But without wasting too much more time, I'm going to go ahead and get to building. I am immensely happy with how all these details we just added have really helped the build come together. The extensions have really broke away from that rectangular shape and kind of let this feel more like a natural building. And then I think all of the retaining walls and the planters I put in have really helped the exterior come together. Once we actually connect it up and fill in that river, I think this is going to be a really cool addition to the park, and I'm excited to start our terraforming to kind of bring it in even more in line and give it that more beach-like oceanic feel. I think the palm trees are a really good addition, and I'm really happy with the design I came up for them. As you can see over here, I've started cultivating some of our tide pool creatures, and they're actually almost done. So I'm going to start working my way in to our actual tide pool area and start working on this interior so that way we can start putting those creatures in their enclosures. So I have laid the foundation for each of our tide pools, and I have kind of an idea of which animals I want to go in where. I think all three of these are going to be our trilobites, and I'm going to have two species share this enclosure back here. This is going to be our Megalograptus, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty. I've been just testing in creative, making sure that the idea I had to put slabs just basically on these blocks to contain our trilobites works, and it does. But when it came to the Megalograptus, they kind of bounce on the top of the water, and that can let them jump out occasionally. So I'm kind of thinking, rethinking, and I might put just a glass wall on this side of the enclosure, and then back here I'm going to have the rock work that'll kind of just make it look more open air. But I think just to be safe to put a glass wall here, it's really a safety measure, because if just one of these things gets out, it's going to go to each of these and kill all of the animals. So I'm going to kind of work on that, and I'll kind of show you the process I have decorating each of these exhibits, and then we can finally put in our tide pool creatures. So the first thing I did was I went through and I just filled each of these enclosures with water. On the first three, I did the same level, which is just one block above our floor in the exhibit. But for the Megalograptus, I did decide to put the water level down a whole block. Again, I'm really trying to make sure that these guys cannot jump out of their enclosure because they will just annihilate the rest of the creatures in the exhibit. So then I just added the slabs to kind of contain our creatures. I do eventually replace a couple of these with trap doors for just better visibility, but I kind of went through and added these kind of platforms that you can like walk up on and kind of get a better view into the enclosures. And then I did the same thing on the other two with just kind of decorating them up, making them look more naturalistic rock. They are like, they're meant to be kind of fake style rock. A lot of tide pools that I've visited and seen have kind of been like fake rock that like will let you walk along and like play with all the creatures. So that's kind of what I was going for, just this very like, it's meant to be fake, but it also, I wanted it to look kind of imitation, very real. So I then added some andesite bars to kind of be a little more like secure, like don't jump in here. And then I added just a little bit more rock. And then I did turn to the Megalograptus exhibit, as you see here, and I did decide to put in that glass wall, again, just to keep them inside, but still allow just a little bit of visibility. I went with this type of glass you see here. I eventually changed it out for just clear glass, and then I tried to do slabs on top. I didn't end up liking that. I thought it was too bulky, so I went ahead and just put andesite bars again. I really like kind of just the airy texture, but also like it feels like it's containing something, which I like. And here you see me replacing the glass. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. It's not what I originally had in mind, but I think it works just good enough. I then went around to each of them and added a little bit of coral. I thought that this was, I didn't want to add just coral into the water just because like tide pools are meant to be kind of temporary, not really a space for coral to grow. So that was kind of my thought process. But I then came through and I textured up the ground with adding a couple of slabs. I did use the Copycats mod to add in kind of like these varying levels of slabs and like little bits to detail those rocks. I did have to remove those just because one of our creatures, you'll see later in the video, it did unfortunately get out. So I went back and removed those. But I did add in seagrass and kelp to kind of finalize off that. And then I added sea pickles for just a little bit more light. So as you can see, I'm finishing that up on this exhibit and just adding in more of those rocks to kind of add detail. Unfortunately, I had to take some of those out, but you know, it is what it is. I then repeated the same process for the last two, which I'll let you watch as we finish up this time lapse, and then we'll get our creatures in. All right, here is our tide pool exhibit, and I'm very happy with how this all came together. I think each of these looks so cool, and I think it's going to look so cool once we actually place down our creatures. So I guess let's go ahead and start over here. I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do 4 of these guys in this one. So I'm going to click right here. Oh my gosh, they're tiny. He's so small. Okay, I'm going to get all 4 in here. Oh, they are tiny. Do they have an age indicator? I don't really know much about these. They do have, okay. Oh, they're self-feeding, so I don't, okay. That's good. Let's put these 2 in this one. There we go. They are also really small. Look at how cool. These are new to the update. I've not seen these before. These are really, really cool. I love their little models. That's adorable. Okay, and then I think I'm going to do these 3 and this one in the back, because this one's going to have the only one with 2 different species. So I'm going to do this one. Oh my gosh, he's so cool. He kind of looks like a dung beetle. That looks super cool. Okay, and then I'm going to do these ones. And oh, they are so small. I love these guys. I think it's going to look really cool when they're fully grown. I don't know if I'll name these. Again, I don't really have a villager to trade me name tags, so I'm going to work on that between episodes. We might name these guys, we might not. We'll just have to see. All right, and now for the big finale of this enclosure, we're going to do our Megalograptus, and I'm going to get by the feeder so they hopefully don't eat me. So I'm just going to place 1, 2, and 3. And they are kind of creepy to me. I've ever since they got added, I've always thought that they were a little weird, but they also are really cool. I love like weird looking things, and I think this guy's really, really cool. Again, I think this whole exhibit's gonna look really cool when they're actually fully grown, and you can actually like pretend like you're just like kind of grazing your fingers across them like in regular tide pools. I think this whole room has come together really nicely, and I'm really, really happy with it. I think we have just enough time left in today's episode to come to the back of our aquarium and finish detailing this back face, as well as adding on our viewing platform extension to this side of the build and creating a sub-level where we can work off in the next episode. So without wasting the rest of our time, I'm going to go ahead and get into the final time lapse of the video. With this being done, this marks a very substantial point in our aquarium mega build, in that the exterior is almost 100% done. With all of the windows put in, all of the details, all of the extensions that I was thinking of put in, the main building is actually finished. Not to say those buildings over there and what I want to put over there, those still need to be worked on. And obviously, I have started the walkway that's going to be going around our whole ocean, just with this little patio here. But it's going to go all the way around. It's going to connect it to some cliffs over there with some more viewing platforms. But for the main building, we're practically done with the exterior. All of the extensions are put in. All of the details I really want are put in. There's a few that I might add in, but overall the outside is completely done. Going on to the inside, we've even started putting in some of these like planters, which I think you've probably seen throughout the video. These are actually part of the Fossils and Archaeology mod. These are volutes, I believe. You just get them with crafting pottery shards and then repairing them in an archaeology workbench and then dyeing them different colors. This one, it kind of looks like a seashell, so I really like it. I did put one over in the tide pools, which is kind of looking like a Megalograptus. And actually, before we end off the video and I show you the viewing platform, I do want to come back through and look at our tide pool creatures. Most of them have grown up, like this one has grown up. One of these guys did actually get out and suffocate on land, so I did make two more of them, and they're over there. But these guys are fully grown up, and they are so weird looking, but also just all so cool. And like all of these guys are over here, they're looking amazing. And there are Megalograptus over here, which I am happy to say have not escaped, and my measures have worked, and they're looking really, really cool. But I think it's time I finally show you what we actually just spent that time-lapse doing, which was, if you come down this stairway, it takes you to our aquarium sub-level, and this looks so cool. I am so excited for a mosasaur to be swimming in these waters, just so you can see it through the glass, see it swim, hunt the fish. It's just gonna look absolutely amazing. I'm so excited. This took a really long time just because it was mostly filled with water, but I managed to get some sponges that I just had from when I fought a sea monument and just drained it all. I did put some pixel art, which if you couldn't tell, this is just the DNA texture, but with terracotta colored in. I really like both of these. I think it looks really cool. I have some of our fossils that we've been collecting throughout the series just on display here. I've got a nautilus shell, and then I did go ahead and craft a skull helmet and put it on a little armor stand display in here, and I think that looks really cool. But yeah, for this being just the Mosasaur viewing event, I'm really excited to get the Mosasaur. I know it's still a couple episodes away just because the ocean's going to be a lot of work. It's a really, really expansive and big project, but I'm so excited. And if you're excited for next episode, I think we're going to work on this area here, which we're going to expand and dig out this way, and it's going to house our ichthyosaurs, our plesiosaur, our leopleurodon, and I think the aquiolamna is how you say that. This is also just going to be where we're going to have some like open spaces to expand on the underside, just when new creatures get added. But yeah, I think we've made tons and tons of progress. The whole build has really started to come together. I really love it. It's all of the exhibits are really starting to give this build just so much life. It's looking good from almost every angle on the outside. And yeah, this is a build I'm really proud of. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys would like to see the rest of the series, make sure you subscribe so you get the latest videos when I continue working on this. And yeah, I hope to see you all in the next one. See ya!